Want to learn how to optimize lean muscle at any age? Whether you're over 40 or over 50, over 60, or even over 70, gaining lean muscle at any age is possible as long as you use these 4 must-have components as a part of muscle building. And listen, you may think, well, I don't want to gain muscle. You do, you absolutely do. So gaining muscle means gaining strength, gaining bone density, gaining immunity, and losing fat and reducing your risk of disease. Sign us up, right? I'm Debra Atkinson. I'm the founder of Flipping 50 and the author of You Still Got It, Girl. Number 1, you need to strength train. And ideally, you need to find what's your personal heavy. How much can you safely lift to muscular fatigue in every set? Let's say you're doing 3 sets and you're doing 15 repetitions in each set. And what you want to make sure you're doing is by repetition 13 or 14 or 15, it gets hard to lift. You can tell you're starting to cheat, or you're not quite sure you're going to actually be able to lift it up. That's an ideal place to be. Now, that's not taking you to exhaustion, meaning feeling overall tired. It's just you've got to put that weight down. In about 30 seconds or a minute, you can probably pick it back up again, but that temporary fatigue, that's your goal. That ensures we have stimulated the muscle enough, given it enough overload so that you can actually gain muscle during your recovery between your workouts. Okay, so next, what we need to pay attention to is protein. The building block of muscle is protein, and more women than not actually negate this and get this wrong. So diet culture, cutting back, reducing calories makes it really hard for any of us to gain muscle. So if you've been dieting for a long time, you're eating inadequate calories and really creating a big caloric deficit, your body's not going to lose weight, and I'll tell you that one in a minute. But you want to make sure you're getting at least 30 grams of protein, ideally at least 3 meals if you want to gain lean muscle. Studies have shown that if you eat at least 2 high protein meals, you may be able to maintain and stop losing it. But that's not the goal. We want to actually increase our lean mass so we can increase and maintain our metabolism for the next 30, 40 years. I will get up in the morning and I eat fairly early the meal before. Dinner is done by 6 p.m. So if I have something to eat around 7 or 8 before a workout, now depending on your schedule may be different, but I will have a little something to get protein in my system so I'm fueled so that the muscle actually has something already putting back into it before I even start. Then afterward, within about an hour, I'm having a high protein shake. Just a great easy way to follow up. A little bit of carb, a little bit of protein, super important. Then I'll have a normal lunch and dinner. So there's been 4 different places where I've got a hit of protein. So again, it's like that medication. Take it at breakfast, take it at lunch, take it at dinner. You would never ever say, well, I'm just gonna take 2 or take 1 out of 3 of those. I'm gonna skip 2. But we do that with meals. And you would also never say, well, I'm just gonna have all 3 and have them at dinner. We would never do that with medication, but we sometimes just have a lot of protein at one meal and don't eat really well throughout the day. Your muscle needs that boost. It needs a boost again partway through the day and another one in the evenings before you're gonna be fasting basically all night while you sleep. Super important for gaining lean muscle. And we don't have wiggle room. We can't coast anymore because after the age of 30, you've started to lose lean muscle mass. You've got to have that boost of what we call muscle protein synthesis, meaning your body putting more muscle together instead of letting it break down because of our age and hormones, because of exercise, and potentially because we're not getting as much sleep. More about that right now. Okay, so number 1 is lift heavy, number 2 is eat enough protein, and number 3 is sleep. Surprise? So a tangible thing, and an intangible thing. Passively, you can be increasing your ability to gain lean muscle by sleeping. So sleep yourself Skinny is the name of one of my ebooks, but sleep yourself to muscle is another concept you need to keep in mind. When you sleep, during your deep cycles of sleep, we produce hormones like testosterone and growth hormone. Both are important for boosting lean muscle mass. It's like you do the work with the weights, but you won't get the total benefit unless you have those hormones present in the right content. So do everything you can to optimize those, because we produce less of them as we get older. That's not going to change, even if you choose to do hormone replacement. Your level that you're replacing and getting to is not the same as it was when you were in your reproductive years. So do everything you can lifestyle-wise now to optimize it. So that's one, right? Those hormones overnight are produced. Then if you don't sleep, you don't either get enough sleep because you don't prioritize going to bed and staying asleep, or you're waking too much, not on purpose, but you're struggling with hot flashes or night sweats and a snoring somebody or a dog, all the things that can get in the way. You want to try to eliminate those too. So sleep in another room, have somebody else watch the dog temporarily, make sure you take a warm bath, do all the things to get yourself some sleep. Otherwise, your cortisol levels the next day are contributing to muscle breakdown. If you're too stressed, you're tired, sleep deprivation increases your wonky cortisol, and then you're causing yourself muscle breakdown. And what's the last thing? If you don't sleep well, you don't feel like getting up and exercising. You don't feel like exercising as hard, and you probably should not because you're already so stressed. So sleep is a really important thing. You want to prioritize that as much as possible. So if you're getting up in the morning to work out before you go to work, you want to be sure you're going to bed a little bit sooner so you don't short sheet yourself, pun intended. So number 1, lift heavy weights. Number 2, eat more protein. Number 3 is actually get better sleep. And number 4 is reduce your overall sense of stress. We call this the allostatic load. It just means you're stressed from all over the place. So from your finances, your relationships, your work stress, your kids or the aging parents that you're caregiving to, stress from all sources. But 2 places we often don't think about this from is your exercise. Exercise is stress. Even if you're going for a walk, it's more stressful to your body than sitting on the couch. However, it can be a positive stressor because low level, extended periods of time where you're walking for 20 or 30 minutes or maybe 40, or you're going for a long hike, if you love that, can decrease your stress loads, especially if it's outdoors, better than inside. That's one piece you've got to think about. But if you're doing lots of high intensity interval training and you're doing high intensity strength training to muscular fatigue the way I described, and you're walking a lot and you're doing more and more of it regularly and frequently, and it's always hard, that potentially is too much stress. It's a good thing to have controlled amounts of stress regularly that start and then they're over. But unfortunately, life is so chronically stressful that we've really got to manage the imposed stressors we give it, like exercise or like too much diet restriction. Did you know that cutting back your calories too much may actually be what's in the way of you losing weight? So consider that. If that might be you, that might be something to experiment with. So think of it this way. You want to look at if life is throwing you a lot of intensity right now. You got a lot of things going on. It's already very stressful. Think about decreasing the amount of stress or the intensity that you're putting on yourself with your exercise. So you might consider continue strength training, but instead of doing those longer workouts, keep it to about 20 minutes total. Do a few exercises, do multiple sets of them, and go to muscle fatigue, but then be done. 20 minutes, and that's it, a couple times a week. Then combine that with walking, and you might find that that actually helps you reset, decrease the stress level overall so that you can get the benefits out of the work that you're doing. When things level out and life is not so stressful, then you can change the intensity of the exercise again and probably get better results. Okay, so those 4 again, are you ready? You gotta lift heavy. You got to increase the amount of protein that you're eating. For most women, that is a big causal reason. They're not gaining lean muscle, not seeing muscle tone and definition, and getting more tired instead of more energy from their exercise. Number 3 is get quality sleep. Quality and quantity sleep are super important. So work on the things, do the things you can help. I'll put something in the show notes about where you can get some support with sleep in case you need it. 4 is making sure that you're decreasing your stress from all sources. And yes, you can have stress if you're lifting wrong for the moment in life you're in. If life is really stressful, just reduce what you're doing. So you've got all the pieces. If that was helpful, let me know in the comments. Let me know that you're lifting, number 1, and you're eating protein. Or if one of those is a challenge, let me know how it's challenging you, and I will help answer that question next time.